Why don't we go next to James from Pennsylvania? James, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's on your mind today? And James, you've muted yourself. If you unmute yourself, I'll be able to hear you. And James, last chance, you've self-muted. There you are.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, David, so thank you for letting me speak. I was wondering, so you see how Americans, like 60% live paycheck to paycheck, medical debt is skyrocketing, people don't want to take like ambulances, college tuition skyrocketing, housing prices, and wages have kind of stayed the same. So what do you think that we could like look at like a different system, or what would you think, like more social programs to try to easing the burden on families? Because as of right now, as we see that people are the top 1% has more wealth than like 170 million Americans.
Yeah. So when you say try a different system, what do you mean?
Well, I wouldn't say like maybe like, let me rephrase that. I'm not talking like capitalism, socialism. I'm just mean like I is it like social democrat or democracy, whatever. It's more like more social programs.
Yeah. So a couple different things here. First and foremost, wages have been increasing. And in fact, we've seen some of the fastest wage increases in decades over the last few years. Where you're right is inflation has also been high. And so inflation has exceeded wage increases. That's true. But I think we want to be accurate. And we have actually seen some of the more notable wage increases. A couple different things I think are going on here. Where I think the U.S. is not doing enough is in the allocation of tax revenue in the most economically stimulative way. And so it won't come as a shock to people in my audience that we do need to use tax revenue, I believe, less so for defense spending. And by that, I don't mean like the tiny sliver of it that we give to Ukraine. I'm talking about the broader military industrial complex, the fact that we have 40 bases in Germany and so on and so forth. Much of that money, without taxing anybody anything more, much of that money could be reallocated in more economically stimulative ways. Food stamps, for example, which have been expanded under Joe Biden, which I think is great. Food stamps are insanely economically stimulative. Every dollar put into food stamps has a very high economic multiplier relative to some of these other forms of government spending or spending altogether. So I would like to increase some of those programs. I do believe there are areas altogether of society that should be taken out of the market system. I've said healthcare is one of those. Healthcare demand is completely inelastic. James, I'm guessing right now you don't have appendicitis. Is that right?
No.
How much would you be willing to pay for an appendectomy right now?
I don't have, honestly, I guess the most I can just maybe like $200.
No,
I
but
don't
why
have
would you
much in
pay? Why
savings
would
right
you pay anything? You don't need an appendectomy. Why would you pay anything?
now. Yeah. Well, not, yeah, true.
Now, if all of a sudden you got appendicitis, how much would you be willing to pay to get the appendectomy?
I can't afford much, so very little.
But
I have.
whatever it would take in order to save your life. Is that generally the point here?
Sure. Yeah.
This is going very wrong, James, but the point here is it's not like something like, a sports car. If it's cheap enough, you might want one. Your interest in it goes up. But if it's too expensive, you're not so interested in it. With an appendectomy, until you need it, your demand is zero. You're not willing to pay anything. Why would you pay for a procedure you don't need? And then all of a sudden you need it to save your life, and that changes. So the point here is there are certain areas of the economy like healthcare, which I think need to be removed altogether from a market system. And so it's not a different system altogether, but it is a model that exists in Scandinavia and in Northern Europe. That's the direction I'd like to go in.
And can I ask you one quick follow-up?
Sure.
So we saw that, I told you like the top 1% owns more wealth than 170 million Americans.
Yes.
I'm not saying like try to seize wealth, but would you be interested like possibly like a wealth tax? Because I heard it could bring in maybe like 2.4 trillion over like 10 years.
As I've said before, I think the wealth tax is problematic logistically and legally. I don't have any moral opposition to it. I just think there are practical issues with it in terms of what if people have to sell stock or like art in order to pay it. I don't know how you force people to do that. I don't know how you quantify the value of some of these things. Are you getting So I think that there's logistical problems. It doesn't really seem to me like legally it's going to fly. So I would look at other things. I think we need to tax dividends as income. I've said that before. I outlined an entire plan, but I have no problem with a wealth tax. I see it as difficult to implement.
All right. Thank you for letting me speak.
All right, James from Pennsylvania. Excellent to hear from you. We're going to take just like the quickest of breaks, and then we'll go right back to the phones and hear from more people. So hang on. Staying healthy and feeling generally good is all about habits that are sustainable, finding what works for you, something you'll stick to, and it might be different for everybody. That's why I keep my routines really simple. Before I have my morning coffee, I'll have a scoop of AG1. AG1 is just this tasty green nutritional supplement. You can mix it into water or other drinks or smoothies. You get 75 high quality vitamins and probiotics from whole food sources. It's just a scoop of AG1. You're covering everything you would need for the day. I just don't have time to be dealing with 10 different vitamin supplement bottles or combining all these things. It's also really expensive to do that. It's just a single scoop of AG1 in the morning, gives me all the vitamins that I'm looking for, saves time, more cost effective. You can go to drinkag1.com/Pakman to get 5 free travel packs of AG1, plus a free 1-year supply of vitamin D. I've talked about vitamin D many times. The link is down below.